Welcome to the Look Back Podcast. I'm Sam Holt, joined as always by Madi Kroll. We are the Look Back Podcast brought to you by DrO.com. Get your daily prescription of fantasy sports. Madi, how are you after this delightful week 7?
You know what? I took a couple L's week 7 from from a fan standpoint. But from
Yeah,
a fantasy standpoint, I'm on a roll. So,
love it.
you know what? I'm just going with it.
I
How
love to
are
hear
you
it.
feeling?
My teams are hurting right now. It wasn't a
Mhm.
good week. Cordero Patterson didn't get me 30 points or 40 points that I needed. I really missed Josh Allen. Gosh, I miss him. If I could just send him like a
Oh,
goodie basket this week, like giving you the extra bump after the bye week. Come on, buddy.
at least it's
Save
out
me.
of the way now.
It is. That one's out of the way. So I know that I've got my Josh for the rest of the season. I've got another league that I'm not sitting very pretty, and it's a dynasty league where I know this is the time I'm going to have to start making the tough cuts and really thinking about the future.
Yeah.
So if someone offers me 4 pieces, including a first rounder for Aaron Jones and Tyreek Hill, I might have to do it. And if that
Are you
friend is
listening,
listening,
guys?
yeah,
Yeah.
I know. And that, yeah,
Here's your hint.
it's funny because I wonder if like my friends watch any of my podcasts or even read any of my articles, and then one show I did, one of my coworkers the next day was like, "Really? You think we don't know what we're doing?" And I was like, "Oh," I called them out for being like the work league that doesn't know what they're doing. And I'm like, "I didn't think you guys actually listened to my stuff. I thought I could just talk trash and no one would ever know." But apparently
Yep.
people are listening. So,
I made that mistake too, and my only response to everything has just been, "Thanks for listening," smiley face.
hey. Thanks for listening. Like
Thank
and
you.
subscribe.
Yeah.
Really appreciate it. Well, guys, if
Appreciate
you
the
have any
view.
questions on week 7 or going into week 8, please throw them in the comments. We will happily answer them. But I just want to talk about, a couple players that blew up, probably bigger than we thought they would. I mean, seeing Tua Tagovailoa, I'm not going to say that wrong again, probably. He had the best week of quarterbacks this week. I mean, is he finally on this upswing? Or do we have Tua what he should be? Is this what he's going to be like going forward? Because I do like his forecast of games coming up.
I do too. The hard part is I don't know that Tua is gonna get much of a chance. Like,
Yeah.
I think that they're already looking I mean, we all know they're already looking past him. That's either going to ignite a fire under his rear or it's gonna be a confidence destroyer.
Yeah.
So,
No, I agree
it's
there. And I
not how
think it
you
would
wanna treat
be
your quarterback coming back.
no, definitely not. And especially the talk being that it would be Deshaun Watson going to the Dolphins. Deshaun has it in his contract that he cannot be traded, but this is the one team he said he would be okay with being traded to.
Mhm.
I'm just not even okay with talking about Watson right now in the sense that he could play this season because of obviously the litany of allegations against him. It's like, I don't understand why this is still part of the conversation. Or to me, I think players like this, it would just make me feel better as a person if they just didn't exist on fantasy platforms.
I
For,
agree.
I mean, understand he has to go to court and be proven innocent or guilty, you
Mhm.
know, and whatever. But I'd rather just not talk about it. Can we just not talk about someone like they didn't just get accused of all these other things?
Yeah.
Like,
And I mean, if you're really wanting to go off of like president, we watched everything happen with Big Ben. That was
mhm.
one allegation, charge, whatever.
Yeah.
And look how much time he missed. When you're talking about Deshaun Watson, it's up into the 20s.
Mhm.
And it just continues to snowball from there. So
Yeah.
I don't, just looking back on past offenses, I
Mhm.
don't understand how he would even think that he'd be able to play. The only saving grace for him is that the NFL is so wrapped up in what's going on, like with the Washington football team,
Yeah.
and then all the sideshows that they had thrown off with like the Raiders, all that good stuff with
Mhm.
Gruden. I don't know. That's his only like saving grace, but it's only a matter of time before they put him on that list.
Yeah. I hope that they put him on that list, but at the same time, I feel like what's more likely to happen is he's going to get traded, and then
Mhm.
there's going to be a big uproar, and then he'll get put on the list after he's been shifted out of Houston.
Absolutely.
That
Which
aside,
just give Tua a chance before you
I
go through all
know
that. You
he
waste
looked
3
good.
draft picks.
He looked actually like, I mean, maybe it's just me looking too much into players that are dealing with past injuries, but he finally looked like he had his footing. He didn't look scared in the pocket. He didn't look, you know,
No.
jumping around too much. He looked very confident. He just looked very fluid, and he got everyone involved. He had 3 tight ends
Mhm.
he was passing to throughout the day and made them all effective.
And most of that was him because the play calling was trash. I'm just gonna be real. It was
Yeah.
not very good. But yeah, he's finally getting comfortable and he needed some time. He just came off of an injury. He was out. He's got to get used to the tempo again. He
Mhm.
needed he needed a week to be able to come back. This was a good game to kind of show what he was made of and get his confidence back. I just hope that they support him in that. And we'll see more of it.
Yeah, I hope so as well. Another
Fingers crossed.
quarterback at the top of the list is Matt Stafford. I feel like this is going to be kind of a consistent player to talk about in the top as we finish the season out, just because Stafford is having. He's
Looks
just
so good.
he's just kid in a candy store with all of these weapons, and with Sean McVay, just it's just such a match made in heaven. I think I posted
It's
like a week ago.
perfect.
I would love to find someone that looks at me the way that Sean McVay looks at Matt Stafford, because there's so many pictures of them just full heart eyes at each other. It's adorable.
I was, like many people, so excited for this game. I wanted to see the revenge game. I wanted to follow that narrative, and I know that they weren't big and, like, hyped up about it like we were, but I
Yeah.
was so ready because, even if you're like, "Oh, that doesn't matter to me," deep down inside, it matters to you. Like, you were called
Yeah.
a trash quarterback forever, like,
Yes.
your time in the league, and now you get a chance to, like, come back and just be like, "It wasn't me. It was
It wasn't
you."
me. It was you. I mean, and then on the other side of the ball, I did like, and I know that the Lions weren't favored. I didn't think they were going to win this one, but I did like the gusto that they had in this game. They did not go, quietly into the good night. They definitely really gave it their all against the Rams. I loved the trick plays right off at the beginning, jumping out to a lead just to kind of shock the Rams. I thought that was still super fun to watch. Just watching Jared Goff and the offensive staff there just really try and have a field day and try and stump Sean McVay and the Rams.
Mhm.
Clearly, they had them frazzled for a moment, but that wore off pretty quickly.
So, Jared Goff, we know, can't handle any sort of pressure. He
No.
just can't.
Mm-mm.
But he actually performed better than what I thought he was going to. I thought that he was going to crumble, and he actually didn't. I mean, he wasn't great, but
Mm-hmm.
he wasn't as bad as what I was expecting him to be.
No, I agree with you there. I feel like he surprised me in a couple of really good moments. There's definitely a few weapons there in Detroit that saw the uptick. DeAndre Swift being one of them.
Swift. Whew.
He was number 2 in the week on running backs there, and that just had me excited for him because I felt bad for him last season. I felt like, the Lions are going to be terrible, and he kind of falls into that narrative. But I love seeing a player that has that talent that gets to have those big weeks, and he definitely got to have a big week. Hopefully he has more coming up.
Me too, because he's on a couple of my fantasy teams. So keep it coming.
Keep it going. So if you have him in some redraft leagues, where did you grab him in your drafts?
Oh, I don't even remember.
Probably your running
I
back 2
think
though, right?
I think he actually was 3rd and 1, maybe 2 and 2nd, but I'm 99% sure he was 3rd and 1.
Yeah. So definitely
Might have been
getting
4th and another. I mean, it was low, and I was shocked that he was still there.
yeah. And that goes into the whole Lions narrative of I don't want to own a player that's a Lion. That there's a lot of people that kind of have those biases going into drafts, but
Yeah,
the team's got to score points somewhere. They're going to have to score points. They're going to have to play with the clock. They're going to have to get people involved. They're not going to have an offense that goes out there and sits on the grass and doesn't do anything. It's not like
absolutely.
me when I was a kid playing soccer. That's what I did. I was 7 playing soccer and just sitting on the grass. It was too hot.
Just not about it. Yeah.
Mm-mm.
I got stitches 2 years in a row from soccer, and I was like, "I hate this sport. I'm done with it. Done. Get me out."
Not
Like
doing this
basketball,
anymore.
gymnastics, motocross, whatever, get me out of soccer.
Love it. Yeah. I always got hit in the face with the ball too.
Every single time, and I'm sure it was my lack of hand-eye coordination or something, but, like, I can handle a basketball coming my way, but not a soccer ball. I don't know, it's just different.
Yeah. So not our pace of play, but
Yeah.
let's go forward on to other players. I know that we don't really want to talk about it, but we're gonna have to talk
We're
about
gonna
it.
have to, like, let's just
The
get it out
the
of the way.
Bengals, they look really good.
They're good.
And
They're
I,
good.
and I know you're a Ravens fan. I'm a Steelers fan. It's painful to talk about these situations when a division rival is just trucking, but that's what they're doing. Like they're firing on all cylinders. Even the defense is having fantastic moments. It's
That D
just
line was beautiful this week.
they
That's
were
all there was to it.
fantastic.
They were beautiful.
Yeah.
so synchronized.
fluid.
They shut down the Ravens offense. Here's the thing is typically even when the Ravens offensive line fails, Lamar
Mhm.
Jackson doesn't. He does some little
Exactly.
hoopty doopty spin or like jets out to the side. He
Yeah.
makes things happen. He was shut down. I mean, that's all there was to it. We did okay and then we lost Makari. I don't remember what quarter that was, and it was just downhill after that. It was like the line couldn't get it together, and that defensive line, I mean, they were flawless. They executed excellent.
Yeah.
I'm the offense on the opposite side of the ball. I mean, they took full advantage of Baltimore's secondary. It was sad. I was not a happy camper.
It was definitely brutal to watch, but in terms of just in terms of the fantasy lens, because we've got
That's
another
true.
round of bye weeks coming, and you've got to start anyone that has a pulse. You're liking a lot of the options that are there for you in the Bengals, just in that Burrow is going to be
Oh,
targeting
absolutely.
everyone.
Everybody.
I feel like almost every single receiver is startable going into next week, even
Yeah,
against the Jets. Come
told
on.
you about this. I was trying to send you something. I accidentally sent it to Doc. But I was looking and your tight end has almost the same snap count as your wide receiver one. Like
Yeah.
they're just running these guys. He has weapons out there every
Yeah.
single play. Literally
Absolutely.
50 some snaps. Every single play he's got people out there.
And that's what they're going to be doing. And I think that, especially looking at how they played against the Ravens, they're not going to take the foot off the gas at any point in a game. And I don't even
No.
really see them. Maybe if they have a 30-point lead, they would bench Burrow just to preserve him. But I think even at that rate, I doubt it. I feel like they're just like hammer it, like 0
As
to
long
60.
yeah, as long as he stays healthy, and that's what's wild to me is throwing the ball, they look great, there's options there, but they also ran the ball. Even
Mhm.
P. Ryan got some yardage in, and I was like, "Oh, yeah, I
Oh yeah,
forgot.
I forgot.
You're
Forgot he
really
was here.
good sometimes." Yeah.
Yeah, he had 52 rushing yards and a touchdown. I mean,
Mhm.
Samaje Perine is going to get some usage. So maybe he's a running back that you can even flex depending on how crazy
I
deep your league is.
guarantee you he's still available.
Definitely.
I'm pretty sure.
Thanks for joining us,
Hey.
DJ. Appreciate it. Saying hello. Love it. Guys, if you're tuning in, please throw any questions that you might have in the comments. We will get to them as soon as we possibly can. But okay, so someone else on the Bengals offense just to touch on, because I'm year in and year out always off the boat with Joe Mixon.
Yeah.
No one can get me to draft him. I won't do it. It's just
He's
I
not
will not do it.
consistent is the issue.
Yeah. And considering everyone, absolutely everyone got used so much in this game. And yes, he did end up with a touchdown, but he only had 12 rushing attempts. That's not sustainable for what
No.
you would need or what you wanted out of him.
No. And I think that the thing is they have so many options. Burrow's talent is that he can throw a ball, he's accurate, he can make
Mhm.
something happen. I don't unless Mixon just becomes crazy consistent, that's not
Mhm.
gonna be their go-to guy. He's not gonna be a guy like Zeke or somebody that you're just gonna hand off to all the time. That offensive line is looking good. There's people
Mhm.
for him to run behind. There's gonna be
Yep.
holes and opportunity there, but he's gonna have to prove himself, and he hasn't done that yet. So I still would tread with caution. He's gonna have some breakout games where he goes off because he gets a couple touchdowns out of nowhere. It's gonna be on like 12, 14 carries.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just proceed with caution fantasy wise.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree with that. And I mean, in terms of where you probably drafted Burrow in two quarterback formats, maybe even in single quarterback formats, you're happy with his output.
Oh, absolutely. And that's just I always say this about somebody, but that's just gonna keep getting better. I'm on the Burrow train as much as I hate to be.
I
As
know.
far as fantasy.
No, I definitely, yeah, as far as fantasy, definitely here for it. Just bigger and brighter days ahead for him. Obviously, Brady
Yeah.
had another amazing game. In terms of the Brady is old narrative, I posted a tweet this weekend. I'm kind of overhearing the old jokes. Like we've heard so many. I'm so
We all know
tired.
he's old.
We all know he's old.
He just got his 600th touchdown or whatever
Yeah.
that was.
And he's gonna keep
Uh,
breaking records because he will
yeah.
not retire. And that's what he's gonna do.
No.
He's just gonna clean up on all the records.
They're gonna
That's
have to,
fine.
like, cart him out in a wheelchair at some point, like, onto the sidelines, and he's gonna have headphones on or, like, a headset on or something, like, he's not like, they're going to have to physically remove him from the game of football.
No, they will literally they'll have to pry him away for sure. But he's just so dang good, and he's just playing at such a different level. I feel like there's been years before where it's like, "Oh, Brady's not looking like himself. Maybe this is the game getting to him." But he also seems to just be playing at another level right now. He's just so effective, so efficient in terms of having people that were out. Obviously, Antonio Brown was out. I think that's one of the main reasons that Mike
Mhm.
Evans had the game that he did. But like, I'm not saying that I hate Mike Evans, but I'm just saying like
No.
he doesn't get consistent games like this. He'll have these monster games, and you're like, Mike Evans is back, and then he'll have what he had in week 6, which was 2 catches.
Oh, I didn't even realize he had 2 catches in week 6. And, like, the other thing is on the Bucks, Brady's surrounded with a great offensive line and great weapons.
Yeah.
He's set up for success.
Because he sent that group text after they won the Super Bowl and was like, "Hey, guys, let's run it back. Everyone agree to your contracts."
Yep.
Like, I'm
And
Tom
you
Brady.
listen because he's Tom Brady.
Yeah.
I mean, here's the thing. I always say that, like, he's running that team because Bruce Arians, I don't remember what week it was, but it was at the beginning of last year's season when things were off to a slow start for the Bucks. While Brady was sitting in the locker room, like, sat out in a press conference and said his ideal perfect quarterback, if he could build one, like taking qualities from every other quarterback in the world. And he said, I don't need to do that. He already exists. And we're all like, oh, Tom Brady. No, Andrew Luck is who he came up with. And then after that, Brady went off. So I don't know if that was Bruce Arians' way of just being like, okay, I'm going to try to.
This is like that water cooler talk just to like, guess what I'm going to say? Like, if they ask me this, I'm going to throw this out there. Or just like this sideline talk during practice. And then Brady like, seriously? I'm going to show you.
And then later in the season, he goes, I figured him out. I figured out Brady. You just have to let him do him. And I'm like, so you're not coaching. Like, you just told the world you're not coaching. You're just letting Brady do what he wants to do. But it's working. So whatever.
But also, I mean, does Brady need a lot of coaching? Probably not.
No, probably not.
I don't think he does. I feel like the other weapons there in Tampa Bay, again, when Antonio Brown comes back, and even when Gronk comes back, I feel like this would have been a big Gronk game had he been healthy. I don't think that Mike Evans would have had the game that he did.
In the middle of the field is always his.
Yeah. Which hope he gets better
And
soon
red
because I
zone.
have him too. Everyone is hurt on my
ribs.
teams, and it makes me sad.
I feel the same way. That's how I felt with running backs at the beginning of the year. That's how I got so many good running backs, like, just because I kind of lucked into it, not because that's how it was drafted at the beginning.
Hey, you gotta let the season fall to you in a lot of ways. Let's talk about tonight's game a little bit and how Alvin Kamara ended up finishing as the week's leading running back. Just absolute monstrosity.
Who saw that coming, first of all?
Who saw that coming?
Yeah.
Didn't you?
Did you? No. Leading for the week?
Leading for the week, I did not see. I thought he would have a good game this week.
He would have a good game. I did not think that he'd be the leader for the week. No. I didn't think,
I thought that it would spread the ball around a little bit more, but he had 10 catches on 11 targets, 128 yards and a touchdown. You're not mad at that.
No. Do you have him in any of your leagues?
I do, and I don't even think that score ended up saving me in a couple leagues.
Dang.
It's bad. It was a bad week, but on to the next one.
Bounce back from the buys.
Definitely be a bounce back. How do you think he's going to shape up against the Bucks next week?
Man, that defensive line looked really, really good last week. Like, really good.
Probably a fall down a little bit for Kamara next week.
I don't think he's going to have as good of a game next week. I really don't. I don't think they'll be able to. They're going to have to target that secondary.
Yeah. So then maybe it could be a Callaway day. I know it's gonna be rough.
We'll see.
Other running backs that obviously showed out and got everyone excited. D'Ernest Johnson, I loved his interviews. This guy is so
I didn't see any
lovable.
Of them, and I've heard that from so many people. So now I have to go back through and watch them.
Go on Instagram for NFL and SportsCenter. They've replayed a bunch of them. There was one where an interviewer said, "What did you think of LeBron giving you a shout out on Twitter?" And he said, "LeBron, you could see the little kid in him," and he's just like,
was he so excited?
He was so excited. Oh my gosh, all the feels. It made me so excited for him. He's going to continue to have an amazing floor as long as at least one of the running backs is out for the Browns, I think.
Yeah. I like how he does his little cuts. He can he's very thrifty. Is that the right
Thrifty.
word?
Shifty?
Shifty? No, like, well, yes, also shifty, but he's like resourceful.
Yeah, I
Like
can see that.
he knows the situation he's in and he makes something like he's smart about the way he plays.
Mhm.
But he can maximize out of small potential.
Yeah. No, he
That makes
definitely can.
sense.
The smallest of holes that he could see, he definitely maximized
Yes.
every single carry that he had. It was just super fun to watch him play, and I think that he's someone that if you manage to get him off of waivers, if you can manage to get him this week, definitely worth blowing more of your fab budget on him just because he's going to continue to have a steady volume again, as long as at least one of the running backs is out, because we do know that two running backs can always have value there in Cleveland, anyways.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And even like that's one thing to keep in mind too is just like people are always concerned once you have a quarterback go down, it's always concerning about okay, how are my players going to perform?
Hmm.
But especially in Cleveland, you like their offense is set up for a quarterback to come in
Hmm.
and it doesn't really matter who it is, they can execute it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just the way it is. They're going to be able to run the ball.
No, for sure. The
Keenum can't throw as well as Baker, but
No, but he doesn't need to necessarily throw that much if
yeah,
the running game is that efficient.
yeah, which it is.
It's very efficient. I also wonder if maybe when both running backs come back fully healthy, or if before that even happens, if the Browns get some sort of offer for Johnson, just because there are so many injuries throughout the league that teams will be hurting. And seeing someone show out in a game like that, I mean, what
Mhm.
better thing to put at the top of your resume? Getting the ask and maybe getting a trade too. So he's someone that you see the talent. It's right there. It was on full display. Hopefully we get to see a lot more of him in not just the weeks to come,
That's
but
such a good take too, because I didn't think about that, but that's so true.
yeah, you really never know, just because I mean, this is the time when teams are making trades. Like everyone's kind of assessing different things. Obviously, Joe Flacco is now going to be the quarterback for the Jets. Jets doing Jets things, like
Yep.
teams are going to do what they can to try and win. Doesn't matter what position they're in. The teams, like outside of your fantasy team, these NFL teams are going to do what it takes to win, even if it looks
Yeah.
crazy. So maybe they go out and someone makes an offer.
Yeah. That's so true, especially when jobs are on the line, which they always are in the NFL.
Yeah, absolutely. Early and often, always on the line. Let's talk about another running back by committee there with the Patriots. Obviously, Damian Harris and Brandon Bolden. Didn't think I was going to say that this week. Had an amazing week. JJ Taylor also had an amazing week. Is this just
Mhm.
like a weird one-off week where it's just the running back craze for the Patriots, or do we see each of them always having volume? I feel like Harris is always going to be the number one, but do we need to start now looking at Bolden and Taylor week in and week out?
I don't know because Belichick hates the Jets. Like, I'm convinced. After this week, I'm like, "Oh, okay. So you're just gonna keep driving the axe deeper and deeper." I don't here's the thing is the Jets D line isn't that great.
Hmm.
I think they took full advantage of that. I don't they're still gonna be able to run. I don't think that they're gonna have this type of week consistently.
Yeah. No, I don't
And
think weeks consistently for sure.
yeah. And with all the money that they spend on those tight ends, like I'm like, where's the 12 personnel? Because the amount of money that you spent this offseason, I don't know.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Poor Johnny Smith. Feel bad for the guy. Didn't he get taken first too? And Hunter Henry was signed second?
Oh, is that how that went? I don't know.
That's what I thought. I'm
I
pretty sure
actually
that's the
drafted
order.
them both, and I was kind of disappointed this year because I was just convinced that they were just going to be.
Hey, Hunter Henry has had one touchdown now in the last 4 weeks in a row. So hey,
He's,
cheers to a
he's
floor.
moving up. I
Yeah.
dropped Johnny Smith, I think, week 3.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I
Yeah.
mean, maybe it's a later push and he gets utilized more, but if they're going to go crazy on running backs week in and week out and then just make sure that, Hunter Henry is going to punch the card week in and week out to get a single touchdown on literally only 2 catches last 2 weeks, only 2 catches, but he got a touchdown in each of those weeks.
I will say that,
Crazy.
yeah, because I kind of thought about this. I was like, okay, rookie quarterback, we're going to be seeing a lot of like that rookie tight end relationship.
Hmm.
Not really what has happened so far as like what I thought.
No.
Um, Mac Jones is actually playing well. They're throwing in a lot of screens lately. So I'm
Mhm.
like, Belichick is literally grooming him very well. He's going
Mhm.
to keep throwing these things in, but I think that we're going to start seeing a lot more intricate sets from them, and I think that it's just going to be a lot of play action dumps coming up.
Definitely. No, I completely agree. Cooper Kupp leads the wide receiver pack again.
Cooper Kupp.
Cooper
What
Kupp.
more could you ask for?
Nothing. Just, just a great smile at the end of the game. Yep, we already got that too. Thanks, Cooper Kupp. Appreciate it. I'm
Yeah.
sure he's also just like one of those really sweet guys that's like helping clean up after the locker room at the end of a game. Like he's just that good of a
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah. I actually really want a Cooper Cup jersey. I
Yeah.
really do. And I'm trying to wait till the end of the season to make sure that I'm not just like starstruck.
Well, also, I mean,
I
for
do that
me,
sometimes.
I don't buy jerseys unless it's not in season because it's like a jinxing thing in my head. I don't want to go out get a jersey and
Oh.
then someone gets traded. Go out get a jersey, someone gets hurt. Like I don't want to have that power. So
I
I
bought
always wait unless it's Christmas and then I will just say 3 players that I want and we'll just be surprised by which one I get.
I bought 2 jerseys at the beginning of the season. Both of them got hurt. So I feel like maybe you're right.
Maddie.
I didn't know that was a thing.
That's my thing. That's why I intentionally just avoid buying jersey unless it's a gift, and then I'll say like, if you want to get me a jersey, cool. Here are a couple players I like. Surprise me, because then it's not on me to make that
On somebody
decision, and it's
else.
on someone else. And because I feel like it's a gifting thing, you're less likely to upset the fantasy gods.
Man, oh man, oh man. I'm
Wait,
reaching
what
on
jerseys
my
did you
life
buy? Now I gotta
choices.
know.
Just ask me about any of the running backs that got hurt this year.
Any and
Good
all of them.
chance good chance 2 of them are on that list.
Oh my goodness. Now, okay, question, because I know that obviously you're a Ravens fan, I'm a Steelers fan. I have almost all Steelers jerseys. I do have one JJ Watt t-shirt, but I will have to get something else new because that is a Texans shirt. Can't have that
Yeah.
in my wardrobe.
But
And
everybody loves JJ Watt.
everybody loves JJ Watt. Who doesn't love him?
Mhm.
But are there other players that you have outside of your team that you have their jerseys and you'll rock?
Tight ends. Yeah. I have a lot of tight end jerseys. I'm a big tight end fan.
Okay. I like
I
that.
actually have a couple of offensive line, like deep offensive, like right tackle, right guard, left
Love it.
tackle.
Love it.
I have 1 center. Yeah. Actually, I don't have very many skill position
Really?
jerseys outside of yeah.
No,
No.
but that's right in your wheelhouse. Like
It
you love
is.
those guys. You're with those dudes that like
I'm a ride
you
or
also
die, yeah.
understand it. Like you're fully in the mix. You're in the full mantra, just like this week in and week out. I love it.
That's what I see, yep.
No,
Yeah.
I think if I get a jersey this year, like depending on how the season ends, I do love my Robert Woods. I've had him on my dynasty team for years. My Bobby Trees, I love him, and he just
Mhm.
changed his number. I don't know that I love the number, but
You
like
could get one of his older jerseys for cheap then if you wanted to.
that's true. I can do
And then
that.
you could just be like, "I was a
Just
ride or die."
I was right. I was here before.
Yep.
Was a fan before. And then for other players that I would get jerseys for, it would be tough to get me to get a Bengals or a Ravens jersey, but I have so much respect for Lamar Jackson. I would probably
Mhm.
just get one of his Louisville Cardinal jerseys and I just rock that.
We'll take it. It's
Just
hard to be a Steelers fan and own a Ravens jersey. I don't think I could own a
yeah.
Steelers jersey. There's a couple of guys that
Yeah.
I would think about, but I
It would
don't
be
know that I
tough.
could do it, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have any multiples of jerseys? Like a player that you have multiple jerseys of?
The only player I have multiple jerseys of is Kobe's, and I have 4 Kobe jerseys.
Oh, yeah, that's hard to
Because
beat.
you need the home, you need the away, you need the Hollywood Knights, and I've got a number
Mhm.
8, so you gotta have all of them.
It's a good
Collect the
little
whole set.
mix.
Yeah,
It's
it
a
is
good
a good
little
set.
mix.
The only problem, though, is now that obviously it's hard to talk about Kobe, but at the same time, like, you can't get any of his jerseys. As soon as they go on sale anywhere, they're
Mhm.
thousands of dollars. It's like, can the fans just get a regular jersey price for a Kobe jersey? Like, we
I
love him.
tried to buy one, and it was a real shoddy fake from, like, Korea.
Oh,
Yeah, bad choice. Bad
brutal.
choice.
Absolutely brutal. All right, let's talk a little bit about tight ends because we do love the tight ends.
Mm.
Obviously, CJ Uzoma had a huge week. He's definitely going to get written up in my article this week for the Stock Watch article. He's
2
just
long touchdowns.
2 amazing touchdowns and just the massive train that the Bengals are on. I just love
Mhm.
Uzoma as a deep tight end streaming option. Kyle Pitts finally looking like Kyle Pitts, where everyone wanted him to finally be.
They
Can
were
this be
running him as a
consistent?
wide receiver, and he was murdering corners.
Mhm.
Murdering corners, not just like, "Oh, like, he won that." No, like, destroyed.
There were chalk outlines
He
on the
owned
field,
them. Yes.
like, of where they took
Yes.
them down, and the
I was
ankles are
like,
over here, and the body's over here.
"Wow."
It's
I
just
agree with
unfair.
that 100%. Finally, though, Kyle Pitts came to play because I was kinda hating on him at the beginning of the season. I'm like, "Okay, you got paid.
Mhm.
Where's it at?" And you always have to have that rookie adjustment period, but he really did get off to a slow start. Now, was that where he was at?
Mhm.
Is this week because it was against the Dolphins? I don't know.
I'm not quite sure, but I'm
He had a good week
hopeful.
last week.
He had a good week last week, so building off of that, I think that better days ahead. I think that they have a
Mhm,
pretty decent schedule coming up as well, so I feel like, you know, everything is shaping up to be a Kyle Pitts rest of season must start, never avoid. I mean, they've got the Panthers next week, then they got the Saints, and they got the Cowboys.
mhm.
So I love that stretch of games right there for him.
He's the ultimate mismatch too.
Mhm.
You can't
Absolutely.
find people to you have to go man on him, and then
Mhm.
it's just, do you trust your guy to win?
Yeah. No, I think one play that I saw him lined up, I mean, his defender was easily, it felt like he was at least 2 feet shorter than him. Just like the
Mhm.
mismatch of this guy and just
Yeah.
again, just bodying guys, just murdering them across the board. It was insane.
And give him 1 more year,
Mhm.
really 1 good off season, he's gonna bulk up even more because he bulked up a little bit coming into the league. Give
Yeah.
him 1 good off season, and he's gonna be the ultimate mismatch.
Absolutely. No, I completely agree. And I feel like he's just got such a good steady level of targets. So obviously
Mhm,
he had 8 targets this week. The week before that he had 10. He had 9 the week before. They're there. Like
mhm.
it's a steady stream up. And then in terms of looking at the receiving core, Calvin Ridley obviously didn't have himself the normal day that he would have. He had a touchdown, but not quite Calvin Ridley numbers. Russell Gage is back in the mix. He also had a touchdown. Russell Gage is someone I have a post-it note somewhere written on this desk that was like draft day status of like, don't leave a draft without Russell Gage, kind of like a thing. He was a late round flyer that I was getting him in every single league I could. And then he was hurt. And I was like, what did I do? No, but he's back. And I feel like he's the perfect second weapon there for them. So I feel like if
Mhm.
everyone's healthy, that Matt Ryan just needs everyone to get open. Like
Yep,
he can't throw under pressure. He can't throw into a crowd. He's going to throw an interception. He just needs you to get open. And these
yep.
guys all have in common speed. They're all crazy fast, amazing route runners.
And they're hard to guard.
Mhm.
They get open too.
Absolutely.
So,
No, definitely love them rest of season. Apparently Derek Carr doesn't need necessarily Darren Waller. He just needs a tight end that is there because Foster Moreau looked fantastic. He looked like Darren
looked
Waller out there just the way he was
yeah,
playing.
yeah.
Now
And
we're gonna hear, is Waller a system tight end? No, he's still
no,
fantastic, but
he's great. He's a
I think
great
this is
tight
just a
end.
Derek Carr thing.
And where did this come from? Did he just need Gruden to get out of there? I don't know what
Apparently.
happened.
No, it
Um,
was it was a
but
locker room meeting of like, let's just get the win, guys.
he looks better than he has all season.
Mhm.
Really, truly.
Maybe it's that pressure, that weight of drama on a locker room. Speaking as a Steelers fan, I know that drama in a locker room certainly affects people and definitely can
Mhm.
affect the output of players. So maybe just having that bad energy out, maybe they saged the locker room as well. They went and they smudged, they did the thing, they got the crystals out, they got some good aura going because everyone was firing on all cylinders this week. It was crazy.
They looked great.
The
They
only thing
looked great.
I missed, and I have to go back and figure it out. Did Josh Jacobs get hurt in the middle of this game? Because all of a sudden he was gone.
Josh Jacobs is always hurt.
I know he's always hurt, but when I'm starting him, it makes me sad.
Yeah. Okay, so one thing that I've learned from their offensive line is they run the like the 3rd quarter slugs. You know how, like, when you have a heavy lunch and you
Mhm,
just hit almost like a food coma and you're just, like, slugging through the rest of the
mhm.
day?
It's
That's what
me
they're
whenever I
off
eat barbecue. Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
every time.
Yeah, every
That's
time.
what their offensive line looks like every single game. They just and it's not consistent whether it's like 4th quarter, 3rd quarter, sometimes it happens in the 2nd quarter. They just hit this wall and it's like, it doesn't matter if I hit this blocking assignment, like, good luck. And it ends up being the worst thing in the world for these backs, and Josh Jacobs, I feel like, is never fully healthy. He had a breakout NFL moment because he sat on the bench so much in college, and he
Mhm.
wasn't pounded like all these other running backs were. And he hit the league, and he was able to go off, and then
Mhm.
his body started feeling it. And
Yeah.
he didn't go through the whole thing in college of, like, having somebody say, "Don't rush yourself back, you need to make it to the league." That's what
Yeah.
happens to every guy in college. You learn, like, "Okay, I can't come back too soon because I wanna make this a career." He didn't
Yeah.
have that. So
Yeah.
now he's having to learn that in the league, and it's a business. They don't care. They're just like, "Get out there, get us some money,
Yeah.
and go on." So, I don't know. I don't feel like he's ever fully healed, and it's always gonna be a thing of, like, once he hits his limit, he can't go back out.
Yeah. Or, the Raiders could just invest in better offensive linemen and protect him. Can we just protect him? Because he's so good and so precious. Maybe it's
Yeah.
just being personal to me and that I
No.
drafted him as a rookie in my dynasty league, and I take those very seriously. They're like my
Yeah.
children. I care so much. So
No, I
seeing a
do
question
too.
mark next to his name makes me sad.
And I can't tell you how much it irritates me whenever I'm sitting there watching a game and I see somebody line up in a 2-point stance and their elbows like this. I'm like, if you don't want to be in the game, get out. Fake an injury. Like, you've got cramps or something, go. Like, if you're not going to be on the line, stop because you're going to get somebody hurt. Like, that's
No,
all it comes down to. Like,
completely.
I don't know. Just
Selfish play is just
irritating.
gonna get other players hurt, like my
Yeah,
Josh Jacobs. So
I
get in
think
or
that's
get
it.
out.
But he's good when he's in.
He is. He's so good
Yeah,
when he's
he's
in.
so
He's
good when he's in.
just makes me so frustrated. Anyways, of the other Vegas skill positions that I loved, obviously Hunter Renfro is just having a very interesting floor when it comes to targets. He had 8 targets again this week for 7 catches, 58 yards. He's just missing a touchdown from that stat line, and then he pushes himself into a bigger category for wide receiver. They've got a bye this week, but I'm kind of going back and forth between these receivers and just wondering, outside of maybe, I mean, Brian Edwards just edged himself out with a touchdown, but he didn't have as many targets as Renfro. Can you count on starting any of these three, even at the flex position, week in and week out?
I actually had to pick up Renfro due to buys,
Hmm.
injuries, all that gets really, no, I think it was buys and then it was just a deep league. But he did okay.
Yeah.
It wasn't bad in a flex
No,
position.
he didn't lose you your week if you started him this week.
No. No. Am I gonna keep him on next week?
I mean, it's a
I
bye,
mean, it's a bye
so
week. The week that he comes back, probably not.
yeah, no, definitely. But I just love seeing Derek Carr look like he's feeling a little bit more comfortable out there. Like you said, maybe it's just, Gruden has left and the drama has left the building. We're going to see better things from the Raiders as they go. They've got the Giants when they come back from the bye week, and then they've got the Chiefs, who are apparently very beatable. If we want to round out today's show by talking about the Chiefs and just probably the massive concern that a lot of fantasy managers are dealing with in owning any Kansas City Chief, which felt like a foolproof pickup when you made it in your draft.
Which is fair, but you should be concerned.
Yes,
Like,
this is bad.
Patrick Mahomes is beating the Chiefs.
Yeah.
He's their number 1 arch nemesis right now, and it's so hard to say because, like, Patrick Mahomes fans get so upset whenever you try to talk about it.
Ooh, you can't
So
you can't
upset.
smite you can't smite the Mahomes,
And
no.
here's the thing, he's a great player, but he's in his head right now, and
Yeah.
that's all that comes it's all it comes down to, and if I hear one more person talk crap on that offensive line, I'm probably gonna pop off because are
You
they
should. I would love
perfect?
to see it.
No, I'm probably gonna go live and just tell people how it is and just start breaking down film.
Let's
He's
go.
leaving the pocket early. It
Mhm.
is so hard as an offensive lineman to do your job if your quarterback's going rogue.
Yeah.
You just can't. Like,
Yeah.
there's no excuse for it. You cannot protect a guy who's it would be like if you have, like, a a game plan or, like, a plan for, like, the army, and you're getting everybody loaded up, and then some guy
Mhm.
just charges in on his own with no gun. and gets mad whenever he gets shot down. Like, that's what Patrick Mahomes is doing, and it's so frustrating because, yes, you're good, and yes, you can make those plays if you have to, but you haven't had to.
Mhm.
And then that brings me back, like, the 2 tight end set that they ran the week before, he
Mhm.
felt comfortable with that extra protection, so let him run that. Like,
Mhm.
let him get comfortable. Obviously, for some reason, he's not comfortable behind that line, and I
Mhm.
don't know, maybe something's happening in practice that we're not seeing,
Yeah.
but as just a viewer watching the game, you're leaving the pocket early, you're leaving your protection, and then you're getting pissed that you're getting sacked.
Yeah.
Well, these guys don't know what you're doing behind you, and something's going on, but Patrick Mahomes is doing too much, and he's beating himself.
Yeah, and it also seems like the defenses that he's facing kind of have his number right now in terms of seeing what you're seeing, in
Yeah.
that he is like his guys up front aren't aware of what he's doing back there, even though they should be. And like you're saying, like if he's going to be having a play where he's scrambling and then doing something extra, obviously he should throw in whatever extra call he needs to make to let the guys know I'm going to be on the move. But he's not doing that. I don't think
Mm-mm.
it's communication. He needs to work on his communication.
Yeah. And he's not like, that's the other thing is he's not even reading the defense. He's just thinking like, we're behind. I have to be Patrick Mahomes and I have to save this. And he's playing
Yeah.
hero ball, except he's not being the hero. Like, it was very evident when you had everybody set up. There was 2 plays, everybody's blocking one way, Kelsey's wide open, and Patrick Mahomes is literally running the opposite way and not even reading his looks. I'm like, do
Yeah.
you know what's going on? Because literally everybody else on that field ran the play and you didn't.
Yeah.
That's when I was like, somebody's got to help him out.
Yeah, something's not working
No.
out, but they've got the Giants this week, who the Giants just had a blowout game and we're doing
Where did
crazy
that
things.
come from?
None
Because
of
they have
no.
none of their people.
Isn't half your
Everybody's
team hurt?
hurt.
What's going on?
Yeah.
Like,
Half of
no
them
one
are
told
on
them.
injured reserve list.
Yeah, it's just weird.
I do want to say one quick thing on
Mhm.
as much crap as I've talked about the Chiefs defense, I feel like I have to give them some type of credit. They
Yeah.
did hold Derrick Henry to 100 yards.
Which I think it came out later, like, that was obviously their goal. Their goal was to try and,
Stop him. He
make
did throw a touchdown pass, but
He did. Their goal was to stop the run, and they did do that. They couldn't stop him from throwing a touchdown pass, and apparently they can't stop AJ Brown.
no.
So Titans still just got the
Titans
best
still
of
ran over.
them.
But I did have to give them credit where credit's due because no other team can really do that right now.
No,
Anyways.
definitely not. But I would say hopefully better days are ahead, but I think it's just something to keep an eye on, the situation there with the Chiefs. For myself, I have Tyreek Hill in a dynasty league, and I'm going to be looking to sell him because I would like to capitalize on this. And if I can get multiple picks out of him, I will do that right now.
And I think that you should, and I think other people should too, because this whole situation is not going to get better anytime soon.
No, I'm going to send you this trade that I got offered after this, so you can let me know what you think.
I'm excited.
But I think anytime you get lots of pieces for only a couple pieces, it can be a good thing, especially if they're underperforming.
Always worth a consideration. Yep.
Always worth a consideration. So what do you have coming out this week that our viewers and listeners can get excited about?
So tomorrow night, I'm really excited. Marcus Grant is coming on our podcast. It's a Vibe that will air on Wednesday. We're giving away a game. And then on Wednesday, I get to do First Look with Doc, which I'm always excited about. And then my article in the trenches.
Very, very good. I love that. And I love your articles. I think that they're so, like, if you're not checking out Maddie's articles, you're missing out because she brings a whole different look to the game that for myself is something that I haven't had the opportunity to read. It's something different and something that you guys should be checking out.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Of course. I've got my Stock Watch article coming out tomorrow, and then we've got the fantasy debate on Thursday, and I think that's it. I'm always so busy.
You're always so busy. It happens. You're like, what else am I doing this week? Sometimes I feel like I block it out to make I can't think about it until the day of, and I'm like, okay, I have this.
No, for sure. All right. Thanks everyone for listening to the Look Back podcast with Sam and Maddie. Check out all the other content, seasonal and DFS tools, as well as premium access to our staff for all your fantasy sports questions in the members only Discord right here at drrota.com. Have a wonderful week.
Bye, guys.
Thanks for stopping by the office. Get your fantasy prescription by subscribing to the channel and checking out drroto.com. And until the next visit, be well and take care.